What's up, y'all? It's your girl. You know, I'm up in here just vibing, just chilling. My baby is gone with his daddy, so I'm proud of myself for doing absolutely nothing. Goddamn it, for now. Until I want to get fan later. But that's neither here nor there. We're gonna jump right into this. This is called Pack Light. And it's funny how I came up with this video because I uploaded a video, but I felt like I was just regurgitating and rehashing and re-triggering myself to my past, and not in a good way. Like, it was things that I needed to hear, but heavy in emphasis on I needed to hear. It wasn't really something that I felt I should be sharing with the world. Like, it's some things that I just needed to work through on my own, and it was things I needed to hear. So I'm glad I made it, because after I made it, I was excited. I'm like, what is my next video going to be about? But here it is. We're packing light, because I really just want to speak on what healing has done for me, what it has done for my nervous system, what it has done for my child. I feel like a lot of times we get stuck in the past and feeling like there isn't really anything that we can truly come back from. So we get stuck in that guilt and that hurt and just consistently beating ourselves up. But you got to move. Life is always moving. You only stop growing when you dead. You don't want to be dead while you're alive. Like Drake said, not everybody dies, but not everybody lives. And that's so true, because a lot of people just survive. And I feel like our people don't really understand the magnitude of what slavery has done to our people. Like, it is imprinted and embedded in our DNA. That trauma, that anxiety, that depression is embedded in us, especially like if you have grandparents that have went to war. All of that is just imprinted and embedded in your DNA, and we don't even realize it. And we consistently put ourselves in cycles and dealing with things that our ancestors have dealt with, that they fought so hard to come out of. And, you know, it's very easy to just get caught up in that. I really took the time to really heal myself, like at the height, literally the height of the pandemic when they announced it. I was still on maternity leave. I kept extending it. In February of 2020, my grandfather passed. My baby was only like 3 months old. COVID had broke out. I was having relationship problems, and I'm just like, F that. I need to heal. And mind you, I'm 26 and I've been working since I was 16 years old. So I'm just like, nah, baby, you got to take some time to heal and to really grieve. I feel like that was the first time in my life that I actually learned how to process grief. And it's crazy because I have witnessed death on many occasions. Like, it was a point of time in my life in my teenage years. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to funerals almost all the time, multiple, and damn. It's just crazy some things, how some things sound when you say it out loud. And, you know, when all that was happening, I'm just like, I realized, like, I'm not just grieving the fact that my grandfather passed. I'm grieving the fact because I decided to quit my job. I'm grieving the fact that I'm grieving the old me as a new mother, a new woman. Like, I'm coming into this and I'm having to shed and leave behind a lot of old things in order to pivot into the woman that I want to be. Like, there is no old me to go back to. There is no, there is no oldness that I want to go back to. I want to stay in this newness. I don't want to go back to things that I fought so hard to get out of. So I got really tapped into my physical healing and my mental healing and gut health, and just realizing how they are all interconnected, and really how society forces us to be in consistent states of stress, and it's not normal. Like, stress is the number one killer amongst our people. And I didn't even realize until I quit my job how much I just accommodated to life. Like, I was allowing life to suck the fun out of everything I was doing. Like, I used to love my colorful socks. I stopped wearing those after a while. Black, white, gray, that was it. I stopped wearing my graphic tees. I got back into that. Like, you would just be surprised the little things that you would stop doing when you are, again, just in survival mode. And I got so heavily into yoga and things like that, and going running, and just like seeing that working out really does change your body. Because something I think about a lot is like, I think about how happy I was as a teenager, as a kid, and things like that. And when I think about it, like, we were active, we were physical, we would be running around, always doing stuff, extracurricular activities, always with our friends, just always on the move. And you don't even realize, like, you have to be the one that keeps yourself disciplined if you want to continue that. Like, it's nobody that's getting your ass up at 6 o'clock in the morning anymore but you got to get up and do that for yourself. You got to get up and go to the gym, or whatever you like to do. So that was the one thing that, like, that just really helped me get back into the swing of things. Like, especially having my son, you really have to stay disciplined. You're not going to always be motivated, but you have to be dedicated to the change that you actually want to see. And that was my biggest thing. Like, I want to be able to make my son proud. So, with me quitting my job, like, it was just crazy how the blessings just kept coming in, because I finally started living for myself. Because I took for granted how much, money I was really coming into and things like that. So, once I quit my job, it was like, on fixed income, figuring that out, hustling, figuring out how and I like that, because I'm so good at so many different things. So again, it was just like the universe was rewarding me for actually doing what I was supposed to do, and walking in my purpose and walking in my passion. And I had to humble myself, because I had to realize that, baby, the things that I want, I'm not an average person. It's going to take more time, because I have to learn so many lessons, because I know once I get to the place that I want to be in life, that's it. So I've been through a lot of shit in the 26 years that I have been alive. Like, even my birth story is crazy, very much so resuscitated and things of that nature. So it's like God gave me a second chance for a reason, and I'm thankful and I'm honored for that I have the ability to be here and to thrive. And they told me I wasn't going to be this, I wasn't going to be that, and I'm doing everything that they said I wasn't going to be able to do. And just seeing, like, my son, like, he just motivates me so much into just propelling myself forward and just putting myself out there, and just making sure, again, like I said, I'm packing light. With yoga, we hold so much tension in our body. Like, if you can breathe, the body keeps score. That book opened my eyes up to what trauma really does. Like, you can ignore it all day, but until you actually face it head on, until you really releasing that tension out of your body, you're going to keep constantly immersing yourself in it. And I had to realize that just because I can articulate my emotions, it doesn't mean that I was actually feeling my shit. And that was one thing that I was doing a lot. I was just so focused on being able to put how I felt into words, instead of just, again, just feeling and just being a human, and just getting more into my body and out of my head. Because once I started saying the crazy shit that I was saying to myself out loud, it's just like, girl, because it'll sound good in your head, but it's just like, in reality, you know, you're not even really feeling it. Like, you just stuck up here. And when you stuck up here, like, our body is not meant to be in these perpetual states of fight or flight mode. Because before I had my son, I was trying to work out, and I was trying to, change my diets and things, but I was stuck in survival mode, and my whole cycle changed one time due to me being under so much stress. And that was another reason why I'm like, I have to get serious about my physical health, because I'm just like, I'm too young to be going through these dramatic and drastic changes with my body and being in so much pain like this. It's not normal. It's not healthy. And it's like, if I have to fight for the life that I want to live, even if it doesn't make sense to anybody else, that's just what it got to be. Like, that's just what it has to be. And you have to get okay with yourself in your life. You're the only person who sleep with you at the end of the day. You're the only person in your body 24/7. That's why I said, like, I just got so heavy into my yoga and things like that, because, like, moving my body. I remember one time I was having a session and I could not hold back the tears. Like, my body just released so much. Like, I could not hold it back. Like, it was just a stream of emotions just coming out of my body. And last year was a really rough period in time for me. And I just took this year to sit still and not guilt myself about the proper rest that my body needs in order to process the heartbreak, because heartbreak and grief, like I said, is not just reserved for physical death. And when we only place heartbreak in the category of a romantic relationship, we miss the mark of all these other things that have broken us and have made us feel a certain type of way. Being able to say that that broke my heart, that hurt me, that's big, that's major. And just being able to say that, because I feel like a lot of times we don't want to feel like we can be taken advantage of, we can be made out to be a fool, or people wouldn't do us that way. But it's life. And I had to realize that I can't take shit personal, even what it is. How people treat you is a reflection of how they feel about themselves. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. And that's why I focus so much on my healing and my growth and being a better person for my child, instead of trying to control things that I cannot control. I used to have control issues bad, and sometimes they still be getting to me. I still be wanting to have that control. And even in some instances when like my son will do something and I just be like, ready to go off on the deep end, and sometimes I do lose my cool, but I collect myself now. And that was one thing I didn't have, the emotional regulation that I have now. Is now I will say to myself, what made me lose my control, what made me feel less of myself, that got me spazzing on my baby. Because children are an easy target. Like, he's having a hard time, he's not trying to give me a hard time. And that's one thing that I had to teach and learn myself, because again, children just be easy targets for a lot of our outbursts and things of that nature. And we are their first teachers. So like, that's something I always think about when it comes to my son. I'm going to be his first everything. I don't want to be his first bully. I don't want to put him in a position where, he feels uncomfortable, because my birth situation with my son wasn't the best either. And I know he picked up on a lot of my energy in the womb. And that's why I'm a firm believer in healing, because if you be around my baby, he's just so full of love. He's so full of life. He's so funny, and he's his own person. He knows what he likes. He knows what he doesn't like. And just being able to see him heal and being able to help him heal, and using healing frequencies and music, and just bettering myself so he can trust me, so he feels safe with me, that means more to me than anything. And that's why I said a lot of times we feel like we can't really come back from much, but you can. You only can't when you stop, when you don't try, when you're not trying to put your best foot forward to meet the people in your lives' needs and to meet your own needs. And again, that's why I say, baby, you have to pack light, because it is just so easy for us to get caught up in stress and what everybody wants from us, that we forget to love on ourselves, be there for ourselves, not even realizing that we are ruled by our subconscious at the end of the day. So if you're not doing the work to diligently unpack a lot of things, because unlearning is just as important as learning, you're going to go out and project and bleed onto people who didn't even cut you. And when you continue to feel like, oh, I'm perfect, I don't have anything to learn from, I don't have anything to grow from, it's not me, it's everybody else, you're going to constantly go out into this world with all this unhealed trauma, because you've convinced yourself that you are this perfect being. And none of us are perfect. We're imperfectly perfect, but none of us are above harming people and just just doing wrong, just being a human. And I feel like because we live in extremes so many times, so much, good, bad, and things like that, like our emotions be on an extreme level as well. It is always go from one extreme to the next, because again, we don't know how to regulate. And I feel like that is just so important. It's so much gray area to life. And I feel like once people understand that, the more they will get to understand themselves, the more they can show grace to other people. Because somebody said, if being hard on yourself worked, it would have worked by now. And that humbled me, because the harder I've been on myself, the more I shun myself and put myself away, instead of actually doing what I said I wanted to do. When I just live my life and just flow, not just being impulsive, but just flowing, you can still be secure and in your decisions, but with just flowing. But it's understanding that you only have control over yourself. So if I only have control over me, how can I do better to make sure that I'm being the change that I want to see? You have to make sure that you're being the change that you want to see in this world. So that's all I got, because that's all YouTube gonna let me do. For real, for real. I can't do the long videos yet. I gotta get these subscribers up, honey. But I just really wanted to touch on that because I just, again, I'm just a witness to what healing has done for me and what it is doing for my child, and just continuing to put my best foot forward, staying up on my spiritual hygiene and things of that nature. It has definitely helped me to be in this position that I'm in now, and just allowing myself to just feel what I feel, and being one with my emotions and being in tune with myself. That is just so important, because the more you love on you and the more you unpack, the better you show up for people, because you're pouring from an overflow. You're not empty. You're not lacking anything, because again, you give it to you. Ain't nobody gonna come save you. You have to be the one that's going to save yourself. So make sure that you're doing the work, so you don't go bleeding on people who didn't, who didn't ask to be bled on. And I wrote a poem about this too. Y'all can check it out on my IG. I'm gonna post the links down below. Make sure y'all like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend to come kick it with me, come parlay with your girl. Because like I said, we here for a very long time, and I love to talk. And I love to talk about healing, and I love to talk about things that's going to make people think and give you a different perspective. So I'm going to leave this video off with saying some love. I love you. I want you to have a great day. I want you to know how important you are and how much of an impact that you make on everybody around you. You are magnificent and you are worthy. And never let anybody tell you that you aren't, not even yourself. You're going to make it. So start unpacking. Okay? All right, y'all.